Welcome into the box score. Terry Collins along with Murphy Ferret. Justin Malden is always doing a great job for us, and Murphy district tournaments are over. Region tournaments getting ready to start this weekend.
Coaches are drawing up new plays, I'm sure, as we're speaking right now, trying to get ready for teams that they probably haven't seen except on Huddle or something like that.
Of course, a lot of these teams are in new regions, Murphy.
Right.
So you don't have the familiarity as you would otherwise, and that makes it a little bit different when you are going against teams just like Cannon County that they've never seen before. Smith to some degree, Gordonsville. It's just different teams that you hadn't seen all year long. And maybe not in the past that you're going up new against.
And it's going to be tough because so many teams are having to travel so far. For example, the regional tournament for Cannon County is going to be in Loretta. That's a pretty good little haul over there down on the Alabama line.
Definitely is. Let's look at the District 7A girls tournament. Pickett County wins that one. Not much surprise there. They win over Clay County 69-57 in the championship. Brent Smith's team has been that team, go-to team throughout the year. Clark Range beats Red Bowling. Red Bowling only scores 22 points in that third place game. Really not a lot of surprises, I don't guess, there in how that finished up.
No, it's that one was a little easier to predict than some of the districts around this area.
Let's go ahead and look at the Region 4A bracket. Of course, the higher seeds, you see the H there. They're the teams that get to host. Pickett County hosts Knowledge Academies. Joe Burns hosts Clark Range. East Robertson hosts Red Bowling. And then Clay County hosts Merrill Hyde. In times past, I'm not saying it'll happen this year, but it's been a clean sweep for District 7, Murphy. They usually win all four or at least 3 out of the 4.
It's going to be a long bus ride for Knowledge Academies and Merrill Hyde, predicted losers, to have to travel that far and come back to Nashville with their season completed.
Right. Of course, that's the thing about it, though, Murphy. The pressure's on the next 2 rounds. Although you may be on the opponent court, these teams that are lower seeded, they can let it all hang out because, hey, losing, we're going home. Everybody thinks we're going to lose, but if we win, we can advance to the semifinals, which are at East Robertson High School in Cross Plains.
Right.
Which would be big. Let's go ahead and look at the District 7A boys tournament. Just coming to a conclusion last night. Gordonsville's up 6 at halftime, winds up losing to Pickett County 61-52. We'll have Greg Bibb on the show a little bit later, but Jacob Amonette had a huge game for them, 19 points there in that third quarter, as Pickett County went from 7 behind at halftime to ahead by 5 and wound up being the difference in the game. A little bit surprising, Murphy, that Red Bowling Springs scores 81 on Clay County.
Wow.
81-73, of course, all this tournament at Livingston. And the thing about that, a lot of those games, or most every night, were at 6:30 and 8. For instance, it was after 10 o'clock when I got out of there last Saturday night after doing the semifinal game with Gordonsville Red Bowling, because the first game, which was a great game between Pickett and Clay, went down to the wire. And of course, that wasn't a school night or the school day the next day. They had to postpone it from Friday night because of a gas leak there at Livingston. But, Livingston, a spacious gym, a big gym, enough to hold that crowd. And it winds up Pickett 1, Gordonsville 2, Red Bowling 3, and Clay County 4.
You mentioned young Amonette. It seems like there's been an Amonette playing at Pickett County almost as long as there's been a Harper playing football in Trousdale County.
Yeah, that is a name synonymous. Of course, that is Joseph's son, Jacob, that is leading them in scoring. Let's go ahead and look at the Gordonsville and Pickett County District 7A Boys Championship. Like we said, Pickett County a strong second half. They scored 42 points, I guess it was. They only had 19 at halftime, and they win at 61-52. Jacob Amonette, 29 points. Eli Adams, a big night for Gordonsville with 19. Jay Foster with 11. But there was just too many turnovers by Gordonsville in the second half, and they missed some shots that they normally make. And we'll talk to Coach Bibb about that in just a little bit. Let's go ahead and look at the Region 4A boys tournament. Of course, unfortunately, Gordonsville girls already out of it, but Gordonsville will play at home. They'll play against Merrill Hyde. That was a little bit topsy-turvy in that the regular season, East Robertson finished first, Knowledge Academies finished second. Then you had Joe Burns finished third. Merrill Hyde fourth. That's the way the regular season went. But then there was upsets, and 2 upsets, which throws Merrill Hyde and Joe Burns in the same side. Everybody thought that, but they thought it would be as the 2 and the 4, not the 1 and the 3 out of that district, as both those teams pulled the upset. That may help Clay County and Gordonsville there, Murph.
Yeah, and there may be some upsets in that first round there too.
When you look at Knowledge Academies and not Knowledge Academies and East Robertson, both of those very, very athletic teams. Of course, East Robertson, the defending Class A state champion, they ended Gordonsville's season a year ago. They'll be hosting Red Bull, and Knowledge Academies goes to Pickett County. You got Clay County at Joe Burns, and you've got Merrill Hyde going to Gordonsville. All those on Saturday night at 7 o'clock at those higher seeds. The winners then will advance to East Robertson on Tuesday night. Of course, you got to win on Tuesday night to make it sub-state game and the region final on Thursday, February 29th, and then that sub-state game would be that following Monday, and I think that is March the 4th, if I remember correctly. But still, when you look at that, Murph, should be a lot of close games. There's probably at least 6 teams could win that region out of those 8 listed.
Joe Burns must have a pretty good basketball team if they finished ahead of Knowledge Academies and Merrill Hyde.
They definitely did. And of course, East Robertson got a lot of athletes on the floor, and you got to contend definitely with that. Let's go ahead and look at the 7 AAA girls tournament. And as we speak of that, we will have Coach Michael Dodgen from White County on a little bit later. They win their semifinal game against Stone Memorial and then beat Livingston, who upset Upperman in the semis to win it. Of course, that championship game didn't start till right after 9 o'clock. It was close to 11 before they got out of there. And yes, they had school the next day. They had to stop the tournament game and let Tex men practice, the way I understand it.
Oh my goodness.
So that made for a long night. Stone Memorial did beat Upperman boys, which Justin Malden did not like. But that may help them out come the region tournament. As we say that, let's look at the Region 4 AAA girls tournament. Of course, Upperman girls, number 4. A little bit odd to see them there. They'll travel to Tullahoma, and they won't be in the Coffee Pot Bowl, but they will be in Coffee County, right, Murph?
There you go.
You got White County hosting Marshall County. Marshall County, a tradition-rich school that at the Class AA level made several trips to the state tournament. And then a familiar team with a lot of us is Central Magnet. John Ash, the former Smith County alumnus, the principal down at Central Magnet, and they'll be hosting Stone Memorial at the old Murfreesboro Central High School.
Better known as Eddie in Carthage.
That's right. And then Livingston Academy will host Lawrence County. Murphy, once again, probably going to be some upsets there.
You've got some great girls basketball traditions in those 8 teams right there. There's going to be some really good games, I think, regardless of which one you choose to attend.
Let's look at the 7 AAA boys tournament. Upperman boys win it, make Justin feel a little bit better. They beat Livingston 74-58. Livingston had upset Stone Memorial in that 2-3 game. And then you had Upperman beat White County. White County kind of waned a little bit down the stretch for a long time. They were in the district lead, got off to a bad start, and then started out like gangbusters in the district, and then now leveled off. And then Stone Memorial beats White County in that 3rd place game. So as we look at the region bracket, you've got Upperman hosting Marshall County. You've got Central Magnet hosting Stone Memorial. You've got Lawrence County and White County at Lawrenceburg. And then you've got Livingston hosting Tullahoma. Of course, I'm not sure. I was thinking maybe Upperman and Marshall County. That game's in Lewisburg. And then the Marshall County Upperman boys game, it's in Baxter. So two teams playing each other, but at different venues on back-to-back nights. On Friday night for the girls' quarterfinals, and on Saturday night, Murphy, for the boys' quarterfinals of the region.
Interesting.
You know, when you look though, Murph, since they went to this format where there's not all 8 teams going to one venue and you're out till, used to they played that on Monday night and Tuesday night. And if you had the late game, it would usually be somewhere around 9:30 before you got started, 9 or 9:30, and then over at 11 and then school the next day. They've made that now where if you get to the district championship game, you get to host that first round of the region, and they've done that for several years. I think that gives incentive for teams to get to the championship.
Well, and I keep referring back to who Cannon County's got to play and where they've got to play. You've got 2 teams, Grundy County and Cannon County. It's over 100 miles to Loretto from either one of those places. And if they have to, they'll do well to get home by midnight.
Right. We'll have an interview with Gordonsville boys basketball coach Greg Bibb in our next segment on the Box Score, brought to you by Carthage Safeway.
Your trusted friend for all your grocery needs in Smith County is Carthage Safeway, your home-owned and home-operated supermarket. From the delicious USDA steaks in their meat department to the freshest produce around, Carthage Safeway is proud to serve you and your family. Todd and Angela Skurlock and everyone at Carthage Safeway are always there with a friendly smile and a helping hand. Great service, prices, and selection. That's Carthage Safeway, 80 Dixon Springs Highway, Carthage.
At DTC, we're proud to provide the communication and entertainment services you need to get the most from today's technology.
Get a $50 bill credit when you add or upgrade your internet package with us. Supercharge your video streaming and high-performance gaming because we've got you covered.
Get the technology you want, backed by local customer service from neighbors you know and trust. DTC Communications, your total communications provider.
Friendly, traditional banking at its best. It's what our customers have learned to expect at Citizens Bank, and we're always happy to deliver, with plenty of options for personal and commercial checking accounts, as well as a variety of loan types. We can help you achieve your financial goals, all with a friendly hometown smile. Citizens Bank at 407 Main Street and 61 Dixon Springs Highway in Carthage, 70 Cookeville Highway in South Carthage, and 530 Gordonsville Highway in Gordonsville. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
There are some services that you don't need every single day, but when you do, you need them fast. That's the kind of service that Roto-Rooter provides. Owned by the Watson family, Roto-Rooter is your next licensed trusted plumber with quick and dependable plumbing and drain service for those in DeKalb, Smith, and White counties. They can do it all and on your schedule. So go ahead and call the plumbing and drain experts of Roto-Rooter today. 615-215-7686.
Hello, I'm Bruce Daniel. I've lived in Cannon County all my life. For the last 59 years, I've only made it across the highway. I married my wife, Melody, in 1981. We hauled our first load of freight in 1983 with one truck and a couple old barred trailers. We found a way to make it. Our employees are the backbone of our company. Some of our team members have been with us for more than 30 years.
Now we're here with head coach Greg Bibb of the Gordonsville Tigers here on the Box Score, brought to you by Carthage Safeway. And Coach Bibb, a tough loss last night. Your team led by 7 there in the going in at halftime. You had to feel pretty good in holding Pickett County to 19 first half points.
Oh, absolutely. And they're an explosive offense. They got guys at every position that can score it, and they're offensively just so much motion, so much movement. Really pleased with how we defended in the first half. I mean, really played on both ends of the floor because we got the ball in great spots. It just ended up being just a mirror image of our game at Pickett.
Coach, you told me before we started the taping of this show that I believe you said you used to coach at Pickett County. Is that right?
I did, from 2003 to 2011.
How difficult is it to be at one place, Gordonsville, and go up against Pickett County, a place where you used to coach? Is that as tough as it might seem to be?
Well, not really. I mean, it's been a pretty big span in between. What's really nice is I never get up there unless we're playing up there, and there's a lot of good people up there. Made a lot of great friends, and that gives me an opportunity to see them.
Coach, it seemed like that your main objective last night in the ball game was to get the ball inside to Eli Adams and to Brody Sykes. Yes, they've got Mr. Cobb, who's a pretty good player, especially to be a freshman, but that duo kind of led you throughout the night. And when you've got two guys that have the touch that these guys have, the length that they have, they can pose a matchup problem.
Yes, that was definitely the key, is get the ball into the paint a couple of different ways. And we talked about paint touches, winning the paint touch battle by getting penetration and post feeds. And we did a great job getting the ball in the post. Second half, I think Pickett County did a really good job of doubling down and being a little bit more kind of overemphasizing help side, and got a lot of hands on pads.
Coach, when you look at the game last night, and I don't mean this to sound like I am a predictor, and I'm no way, because I haven't seen the teams that much. But, you know, finishing where you finished second, I think gets you away from the two most athletic teams in the corresponding district in Knowledge Academies and East Robertson. Of course, East Robertson, the team that ended your season a year ago. And that's not to say that Joe Burns or Trousdale or anybody else is terrible. I'm just thinking athletically that you got in the correct side of the bracket.
Well, you look at how that district played out during the regular season. You had East Robertson finish first and Knowledge finish second, and both of them got upset on the finals night and in the consolation game. So you got 1 and 2 in that district in the other side of the bracket. That's always, I mean, that's not a bad thing to have, to be opposite them. But then you also got Joe Burns, like I said, Clay County, that's playing. He didn't play great last night, but they're playing better than they have all year. Really, and you know, it's still going to be a tough battle. But yeah, two of the most athletic teams are definitely in the other side.
Coach Bibb, I told you that I do Cannon County basketball on the radio, and they're paired up with a district that's in West Tennessee for all practical purposes. They're having to go to Loretta, which is a long enough drive in the first place, but they had an upset over there. Loretta's boys ended up losing to Summertown, and so now all of a sudden we're going to be faced with Loretta, the team that won the district regular season, but finished second in the tournament. I'd be interested to find out. I think there's probably a whole lot of that going on all across the state in all classifications. Just because you win the regular district during the regular season doesn't mean it's a cinch to win the tournament, does it?
No, not at all. And especially you look at our district 1 through 5. I mean, it's been a battle all year, and we talk about our district being one of the toughest in the state because you always have Pickett County and Clay County to go through. A Red Bull and Springs that had everybody back, and a group of seniors that had played together for 4 years and had started together for 4 years, really. And then Clark Range, the way they can score it. So, you know, there is a lot of that across the state, and I know it's like that in this area.
Coach, when you look at your semifinal game against Red Bowling, you got a 64-47 win. 6 seniors, I guess, that played the majority for Coach McKinney. And when you look at his team, you know, they have a lot of experience, and one of the premier players in Colton Copas. I thought you did a great job with him. Of course, you kind of took it at him on the defensive end, and he wound up fouling out there in the early stages of the fourth quarter and allowed you to balloon that lead to double figures. But still a team that at times, and I guess last night, exploded for 81 points against Clay County.
Mm-hmm. Well, we've said it every time that we played them. They had 2 kids on that team, and Chris Hackney and Colton Copas, that can score it just as good, if not better, than anybody in our district. And when you got 2 kids that can score it like that in single A basketball, you're hard to handle. Then you add to it, you have those kids around him, the Thompson kid, the Birdwell kid, that can knock down an open three. And when you give so much help and you pay so much attention to Hackney and Copas, they find them on the three line and they can knock that down. So it's definitely hard to guard. And anytime you can get a win against them, it's a good win.
Coach, do you think your opponents in your district say that about your team, in that you can't just guard one guy or two guys? You got to guard all five of them because they're all capable of hitting double-digit points.
I would hope so. You got the two posts inside, and Brody Sykes and Eli Adams that can score it in the post, and then you got Tucker Smith, Jay Foster, Tristan Wood that can knock down an open shot, and a couple of those guys that can create. So it's I would think they would say that about us. I like my team, and it's one of those things where I love my team on the floor and I love my team off the floor. They're really good kids. That's a big tribute to their parents and how they're raised. But they're just fun kids to be around. And, they work hard and they deserve everything they get.
It makes your job a whole lot easier when they're like that, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Coach, when you look, I don't know that we've seen a more wide open region 4A boys-wise, because I feel like, there's probably at least 5 teams, maybe 6, that can win the region championship. Yes, Pickett won it, but Pickett was on the ropes against Clay, and Clay gets a little shot happy there in the fourth quarter when they've got a 6 or 8 point lead in the semifinals. And then Pickett hits a shot with 1.2 seconds to go to win that ball game. But I do feel like there's 5, maybe 6 teams, Coach, that could win that region championship. Your thoughts concerning that?
That's almost a coach's nightmare, isn't it? There.
Oh my goodness, yes, sir. That makes the preparation time so important. You got anybody, like you said, anybody can win it. I mean, you see it in college basketball too when the NCAA tournament gets here. There's so much parity. You got athletic teams. You got teams that are just traditionally sound, like a Clay and a Pickett. You got the athletes like East Robertson and Knowledge Academies have. And then Joe Burns is as talented as anybody in this region. So really, yeah, like you said, it's anybody.
Coach, I know you're trying to get back to sub-state. You got 2 games that you've got to accomplish in order to get that mission. Tell us first of all about Merrill Hyde. They finished 3rd over there. They're out of Hendersonville. And let us know something about them. Of course, that's teams that you don't normally see. And I don't mean this bad, but when you look at Knowledge Academy, you look at Joe Byrne, you look a lot of the, all 4 of those schools that are out of the corresponding district, they're not just somebody that's just right down the road from Gordonsville. I mean, you're an hour and a half trip to a lot of those corresponding schools, and you just don't get a chance to see them during the regular season.
No, sir, and really I hadn't seen much. I've only gotten 2 films, and I sat down to watch some just a little bit before our call. So I hadn't had a chance to see it. I know they play a lot of zone. They got I don't know names. I do know number 13 is one of their better players. As far as what they try to do offensively is a lot of weak to strong cuts. The way I understand it, talking to East Robertson's coach this morning, we had a region meeting. But about to dig in on them as soon as we get off the phone.
Coach, it appears to me that you were destined to be a basketball coach. You played college ball in the OVC, and you've been at 2 or 3 really good basketball schools since you graduated from Tech. Is that something I guess what I'm getting at, how young were you when you gave serious consideration to being a high school basketball coach?
Well, it's a pretty funny story. I go to Tech, and I wasn't interested in school much. I just felt like I was there to play basketball. So I picked a major. I wanted to be a physical therapist, but my grades after my first and second semester didn't want me to be a physical therapist. And they threatened to kick me out of school. But so the nearest, I walk out of that advisor's office, and the nearest office was the health and PE department. And so I walk in, I get registered in health and PE, and that's when it started. I knew I loved the game, and I knew in some capacity I always wanted to be around it, But it was later on in my college career when I decided, yeah, this is really what I want to do. And really what helped me later on, too, was, I was at Pickett County from 2003 to 11, and I started into a network marketing company that really went well. And I stepped away from it for 7 years, where I got out of teaching, coaching, everything. And that's when I knew I loved it, but I really didn't know how much I loved it until I got back into it.
Now, Greg Bibb, I know you won't remember these because that's back when I was skinny, but did you going and playing pickup ball at the Old Tech Gym with me and about probably 30 more people, did that contribute to you dropping out of the physical therapy program?
It may have. I have to look back on it.
Right. So basketball was a good outlet, I guess.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I believe that was LeBron Bell in that area.
That's exactly right. And we had him for class, and you did not beat Dr. Bell or block his shot in that pickup basketball game. We always accused that to going over to the classroom. I'm sure it didn't, but we always thought it did.
Yes, sir. That's what we'll blame it on.
That's right. He taught kinesiology, and it was tough for sure. Well, Coach Greg Bibb, best of luck to you and the Gordonsville Tigers against Merrill Hyde and throughout the region tournament, and hopefully getting all the way to the Glass House in Murfreesboro.
Well, brother, I appreciate you and appreciate all you guys do for us.
All right, we've been visiting with head coach Greg Bibb of the Gordonsville Tigers, and we'll have an interview with head coach Michael Dodgen of the White County Warriorettes when we return. As we remind you, you're watching The Box Score on DTC TV.
Friendly, traditional banking at its best. It's what our customers have learned to expect at Citizens Bank, and we're always happy to deliver, with plenty of options for personal and commercial checking accounts, as well as a variety of loan types. We can help you achieve your financial goals, all with a friendly hometown smile. Citizens Bank at 407 Main Street and 61 Dixon Springs Highway in Carthage, 70 Cookeville Highway in South Carthage, and 530 Gordonsville Highway in Gordonsville. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
There are some services that you don't need every single day, but when you do, you need them fast. That's the kind of service that Roto-Rooter provides. Owned by the Watson family, Roto-Rooter is your next licensed trusted plumber with quick and dependable plumbing and drain service for those in DeKalb, Smith, and White counties. They can do it all and on your schedule. So go ahead and call the plumbing and drain experts of Roto-Rooter today. 615-215-7686.
Your trusted friend for all your grocery needs in Smith County is Carthage Safeway, your home-owned and home-operated supermarket. From the delicious USDA steaks in their meat department to the freshest produce around, Carthage Safeway is proud to serve you and your family. Todd and Angela Skurlock and everyone at Carthage Safeway are always there with a friendly smile and a helping hand. Great service, prices, and selection. That's Carthage Safeway, 80 Dixon Springs Highway, Carthage.
If you're a commercial driver looking for a company to call home, Huff & Puff Trucking is the company for you. Our employees are professional and dedicated individuals that take pride in what they do. We offer an outstanding pay package with a dispatch structure that maximizes your home time. To learn more about a company that knows you by name and treats you like family, call us at 1-800-965-5033 or visit our website at huffpufftrucking.com.
And welcome in. We've got head coach Michael Dodgen of the White County girls team, and Coach Dodgen, a former coach over at Cannon County. And welcome into the Box Score, Coach, sponsored by Carthage Safeway. Appreciate you taking time out. I know it's a busy time for you.
I appreciate you guys having me on and getting to talk a little basketball.
Coach, you got a very big win in the championship game against Livingston. Livingston had upset Upland earlier. Leslie always does a fantastic job of preparing her team, and seems like every year her team peaks at tournament time.
They do. They're one of those teams that you can almost pencil in every year in November, a team that's going to probably be playing for a district championship or competing for one towards the end of the year, and you pencil that in, and you're probably not going to have to use your eraser very much.
Michael, I'm doing Cannon County's games on the radio this year. I was at Sparta when we play, or when I guess you all played at Cannon County when in that particular game. A kind of a natural progression, I would think, advancing from Cannon County, a very strong program, to White County, also a very strong program. Did you have to change a lot of things in that transition?
No, it was an easy transition. I mean, even the colors were kind of very similar too, so you didn't have to get rid of a bunch of stuff, which made that easier. But no, it's two of the same fan bases type. They're very, very passionate about basketball, and they're very knowledgeable about basketball. So your fan bases, they take it serious. They're here early and they stay late. And most of the time your janitors have to turn the lights off so everybody goes home.
We probably should have mentioned this before we started the interview, but we've got a lot of viewers in Cannon County that'll be watching this program, so you kind of got to be careful, okay?
It's okay. That was as I talked to Terry earlier in the year, that was a really, really great 10 years of my coaching career and 10 years of my life. And, there were a lot of good people down there that took care of me and my family. And, you can never replace those memories.
Coach, when you look at your team, of course, Celeste Reed, she's a Miss Basketball finalist, but I've been impressed with your build up around her. And when you look at Gracie Clark and Bella Winningham and Ava Jones and some of that crew, I've noticed that on different nights, you've got players that are stepping up and scoring, and it's not just the Celeste Reed show. She's got a lot of great pieces of the puzzle around her.
She does, and I thought it was very fitting for her on the morning that our administration called her into the office to tell her that she was a Miss Basketball finalist. I mean, one of the first people that she, besides her family, but one of the first people that she thanked was her teammates. And she's very humble about that, and the fact that she understands that none of this happens unless, she's got good teammates around her and people that, try to make themselves better. And this bunch it was kind of an unknown a little bit at the beginning of the year. We lost 5 seniors last year. So, basically we were starting 4 new starters. Ava could have been a starter for us last year, but she came off the bench. And, the other 3 sophomore guards with Lakeland Gratzky, Bella Winningham, and Gracie Clark, it was just some unknowns. And they have progressively throughout the year continued to get better, and they really get better every ball game. They do something different every time we step on the floor. And when you've got those intangibles to go along with, a Miss Basketball finalist, you've got a good plan ahead of you.
Michael, you come from an athletic family, sort of. It's your dad, if I'm not mistaken, was he not the athletic director at Farragut High School?
He still is. He'll never retire. I mean, he's got the greatest job in the world. They even bought him a golf cart, so now he don't even have to walk around. He just rides around. So, but no, yes, he's been there at Farragut for 20 years now.
My. That's a great place to be. Be sure and tell him I said hello. I was very impressed the few times I was around him.
Right. They've got a good facility and a good sports program there. Obviously, their baseball team, I think they're ranked right now fifth in the nation, not the state, but 5th in the nation. So they're really excited, I know, about their high school baseball team.
Coach, I know you had a sister that played at Pigeon Forge High School. And throughout your time at Smith County, of course, your folks visited, your family visited, and I seem to detect that with White County just because the large crowd that y'all have. We were up there to open the season, Hall of Fame game, Smith County was, and Coach, I thought I was going to a college atmosphere because every seat in the gym was about full. And, of course, part of that is you had every junior pro team, I guess, in the county that was there, and to recognize them. But the other games I've been to, Coach, y'all had tremendous crowds, and crowds that don't just come and sit, but they get into the game. How important is that to make such a home crowd, home court advantage?
Well, it's big this day and age because with our district now being basically the Upper Cumberland district, everybody travels well. So, you play Livingston or Upperman at home, and you don't want them to bring a bigger crowd than what you've got. And like I said earlier, our fans are very knowledgeable. They're very passionate. You've got a lot of former players that come back. You've got former coaches that come back. And then you've just got your average fans that have had season tickets at White County for almost 30 years. And, they renew them every year. They don't miss home games. It's a special atmosphere when you walk into Roy Sewell Gymnasium on a Tuesday and Friday night. And, even now, what's even funnier is when we go on the road. And a lot of times we've got more road fans than the home team does. So, not only do they follow us when we play at home, but they follow us when we play on the road. And, we kind of joked a little bit, and don't want to make anybody mad when I say this, but we kind of joked that Tennessee Tech hasn't had that type of atmosphere for a district tournament at any time during their season. There weren't that many seats taken. So it was just a large crowd at Tech playing. And, when your kids are playing in that type of atmosphere, it makes it a fun environment. And these kids are very, very fortunate. And we tell them that every time, we talk about it. They just don't understand, because you go to some schools and it's friends and family, and that may be 25 people. So, they enjoy it, they embrace it, and it's always nice to see familiar faces when you're playing the game of basketball.
Coach, I will have to say I shed a tear this year when I walked into your gym, because Miss Allie, who has kept your book for she kept it when I played, and we were last in the district with Sparta in 81-82 or 80-81. She's no longer there, and then of course her husband kept the the pass gate there at Sparta for many, many years, and worked with myself in hosting a lot of district tournaments there. But they were two outstanding people that gave service to White County High School.
Yeah, Miss Allie is one of those that I kind of joked with her when I first got to White County. She was the only bookkeeper that I'd ever met that kept white out at the scores table. And, of course, she was very, very persistent on what she did. And, she decided this year that she still works at our central office. She's the head bookkeeper at the central office. But she wanted to go and watch Brandy, which is her granddaughter, who's the head coach at DeKalb County. She wanted to go and watch her team play this year and, not miss the family time, and you can't blame them for that. But, she was one of those that there was a lot of things you didn't have to worry about, and one of them was a scorekeeper every Tuesday and Friday night, and she did it the right way. And, she's about the only one that would ever walk in the gym with that referee shirt on that that they want the scorekeepers to wear now. So she took pride in it, and that's, but that goes back to the pride of White County basketball too. She took pride in being the scorekeeper, and she wanted to do it the right way. But that's just the way the story goes here in Sparta.
Michael, you talk about your fan base, and it's like I said, this is my first year to do Cannon County basketball, but it's been the same way. Every home game, there's not 10 empty seats, and there have been several places we've gone this year that we had more fans than the home team did. And there's something really special, and I like you mentioned, you have to remind the girls every once in a while how lucky they are to have such support. Is just incredible in Woodbury, and I'm guessing you never missed a beat when you went to Sparta, because they're very much the same over there too.
It's 100%. And when I got hired here, and the first game that we played, ironically, we played Smith County that year. My first game here, actually, it was at Smith County. But then when we came back here, there were Coach Mitchell, who's been here almost 20 plus years now. He would say, hey, this person that's sitting right there, this person said they've been here ever since, they started doing reserve seats. And it's the same thing at Cannon County. You can guarantee on that side front row at half court to the right is going to be, Tim Spry, Arna Smithson, and those guys are going to be sitting on that front row every home game, and they're not missing a game.
No, Mr. Smithson's there. He's there on a regular basis, home or away. It doesn't
Absolutely.
matter.
So, but that's what makes rural county schools so special. I mean, even Smith County and places like that, they're passionate about what they do, and the fans are going to show up. And if somebody's got their seat, they're going to let them know about it.
Those fans feel like they own a portion of that program, and justifiably so, because they've been coming so much and have pumped so much into the program year after year after year. Sure. I didn't know you had normal fans in Sparta.
Well, I'd be willing to say the TSSAA doesn't agree with the word normal with fans. So, but no, it's just your travel. I mean, the people just want to go. They want to see good basketball. They want to see you play good teams. And, you know, we've been fortunate enough every year that I've been here that, you know, when you play a home game here, by 6 o'clock tip, every reserve seat's taken. And you just, it's, you know, we're hosting a region game Friday, and it's a region first round game, and they're all big games. But I mean, they started selling tickets today at 1 o'clock, and our bookkeeper, who does a great job, and our ticket lady does a great job. I mean, they're swamped from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock. They won't be able to breathe just because so many people want to get their tickets.
And who are you playing this week?
We're playing Marshall County Friday night, so we get to host Marshall County, which is another traditionally strong program that, you know, Coach Steely does a good job and been to the state tournament, and he's got his dad over there who was a head coach for 30-plus years at Marshall County, got his dad over there helping him. So, you know, it's a good tradition program.
Well, Coach Michael Dodgen, you've been ranked number 1 in 3A for a lot of the year. I know there are targets on your back, but there's one goal that White County High School wants, and that's to make it to the Final 8 in Murfreesboro. And best of luck with that.
I appreciate it, and it is, Terry. You know, at the beginning of every year, everybody talks about it. You know, we want to. The White County girls team's not been in the state tournament since 1997. So, you know, we want to be the next team that gets to put that poster on the wall and be another team that, you know, continues to build those blocks of the tradition that goes on here at White County. And, you know, it's been an honor. I mean, you know, to be ranked number 1, those rankings are people's opinions. And, you know, I think our kids have handled it really, really well. And you know, what's crazy, and to tell you guys too, we talked about it earlier, when Celeste was named Miss Basketball, she's the first Miss Basketball finalist in White County history. And the history of this program is very, very strong. I mean, you got Kelly Jolly that played at Tennessee. You got Ginger Jarrett that played at Vanderbilt. Lisa Lefwich that played at Virginia Tech. That's just to name a few, because you had a ton that played at Tennessee Tech back in the 90s. But she's the first one in school history, which says a lot about the history here and how tough it is to become a Miss Basketball finalist.
Well, Coach Michael Dodgen, best of luck to you and the Warriorettes.
Thank you, guys. You guys have a good day.
All right, thank you.
See you, Michael.
And we've been visiting with head coach Michael Dodgen of the White County girls team, and we'll have more of the box score brought to you by Carthage Safeway when we return on DTC Sports.
Friendly, traditional banking at its best. It's what our customers have learned to expect at Citizens Bank, and we're always happy to deliver, with plenty of options for personal and commercial checking accounts, as well as a variety of loan types. We can help you achieve your financial goals, all with a friendly hometown smile. Citizens Bank at 407 Main Street and 61 Dixon Springs Highway in Carthage, 70 Cookeville Highway in South Carthage, and 530 Gordonsville Highway in Gordonsville. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
There are some services that you don't need every single day, but when you do, you need them fast. That's the kind of service that Roto-Rooter provides. Owned by the Watson family, Roto-Rooter is your next licensed trusted plumber with quick and dependable plumbing and drain service for those in DeKalb, Smith, and White counties. They can do it all and on your schedule. So go ahead and call the plumbing and drain experts of Roto-Rooter today. 615-215-7686.
So, go check it out.
Deterring crime. It's the first job of a home security system from DTC Security.
For just $49.99, get a system with a touch keypad, 3 window or door sensors, motion detector, key fob, and standard installation. The time to get started is right now.
Let us help protect your home.
So?
A lot of nice stuff and an alarm.
Don't delay. Call DTC Security now or visit us online.
Hello, I'm Bruce Daniel. I've lived in Cannon County all my life. For the last 59 years, I've only made it across the highway. I married my wife, Melody, in 1981. We hauled our first load of freight in 1983 with one truck and a couple old borrowed trailers. We found a way to make it. Our employees are the backbone of our company. Some of our team members have been with us for more than 30 years.
Your trusted friend for all your grocery needs in Smith County is Carthage Safeway, your home-owned and home-operated supermarket. From the delicious USDA steaks in their meat department to the freshest produce around, Carthage Safeway is proud to serve you and your family. Todd and Angela Skurlock and everyone at Carthage Safeway are always there with a friendly smile and a helping hand. Great service, prices, and selection. That's Carthage Safeway, 80 Dixon Springs Highway, Carthage.
And welcome back to the Box Score, brought to you by Carthage Safeway. We want to thank Todd and Angela for sponsoring our shows this year. Not many of them left. We're in the waning stages of the region tournament. Next week will be over, and then we'll be looking at at sub-state play, Murph, which will be coming up the following week. And when you look right now, there's only 32 teams left in the 4 classifications as far as public school go.
After watching the Daytona 500 on Monday, I guess you could say we're in the 4th turn, right?
Right, that's true. That is true. Let's go ahead and look at the District 5AA girls tournament. Smith County played well, had a 3 with about a minute left to tie the game, but wound up losing York 41-36. Smith County played excellent defense. You hold York to 41 points. You hope to get to win that game, but they just couldn't do that. And, York, hats off to them. They improved to 22-5 under Michael Green. They've got a Miss Basketball finalist in Reese Beatty. Smith County did a good job holding her to 9 points on 2 of 9 shooting. That was an off night for York. They only hit 12 out of 38. Murphy, kind of odd thing about that championship game, York girls made 4 of their first 5 threes in the first quarter. They made 2 of their last 19, which shows they're a little bit human. But, you got to give York credit. They got the win. Jackson County at home beats Watertown for 3rd place. So let's go ahead and look at the region, let's go ahead and look at the Jackson County Watertown, which is the girls' consolation game. You had Jaylynn Meadows with 16, Claire Williams with 10, and Madison King leads the way for Watertown as Watertown girls are 4th. And as we look at the bracket here in just a minute, you'll see that, it's a tough road, yes, but, Watertown is one of those teams that just keep battling. Looking at the girls' championship game at Gainesboro, Emma Cooper had 11, Reese Beatty 9. Smith County being led by Marissa Spivey and Chloe Collins with 11 points each. Of course, Chloe had 3 of 3 3-pointers, and then Spivey had 11. But Smith County couldn't get anybody else going offensively.
It looks like Smith County played an incredibly great defensive game. If York's 2 scorers only scored 11 and 9 points respectively.
They did, and Smith County would love to have another chance at York in the region finals. Of course, that'd be at Liberty Creek. but they've got Liberty Creek awaiting them in Carthage on Friday night, and then they would have to beat Westmoreland, a team no doubt laying low for the Lady Owls after beating them, I guess, every time regular season, and don't remember if they played in the district tournament game, but then in the region, Smith County upsets them at Monterey to go to the sub-state for the first time since 1978, a 45-year absence last year when the Lady Owls did that.
Are you saying that they're going to have targets on their back?
I would say that would be the case. Good thing it's going to be on neutral floor in Gallatin at the Taj Mahal of high schools in Liberty Creek. Let's go ahead and look at the Region 3 AA bracket. You've got York hosting White House Heritage, a short trip for the Lady Patriots.
No way.
Driving all the way to Jamestown. You got Jackson County and Trousdale County playing at Trousdale. Jackson, I think, won both regular season games when they played each other. So those two teams familiar with each other. Jim Brown, the head coach, against one of his former players in Paige Sevier, who coaches Trousdale County now. Trousdale County girls playing good as of late, only lost by 7 in the district championship to Westmoreland. Westmoreland will host Watertown, and then the winner of that will play at 6 o'clock at Liberty Creek High School. Smith County will host Liberty Creek. Of course, Liberty Creek, a first-year school. And Murphy, when you look at these, that Jackson-Trousdale game could be an upset, but you would think the higher seeds in those other 3 games are definitely favored.
Terry, that's got to be at least a 2.5-hour trip for Heritage to have to go to Jamestown.
Right. That's a long way. But the good thing, Murph, it's on Friday, right?
Well, there you go, I guess.
And you don't have to go to school the next day, which is an advantage. Let's go ahead and look at the District 5 AA boys tournament. Jackson County gets the win. They got up 19 points in the third quarter of that game, playing there at Kermit Forkham Gym, and they had that place rocking. York makes a run. York really out of their element, made some bad shots, made some forced shots, and a lot of individual ball, which is not what you usually see from Rodney Pyle's team. But they drop it to Jackson County 58-49, and Jackson County took Smith County behind the woodshed and gave them a beating in that semifinal game. They beat them 34 points. The Owls had won in Carthage by 5 points in overtime, but the first time those two teams played, it was a 23-point victory in Gainsboro. So, word to the wise, Owls, you better get ready when you go to Gainsboro. They only have one senior. They're predominantly a sophomore team for head coach Kevin Thomas. Of course, York was the top seed. They had not lost in the regular season in district play, but Jackson County and Smith County finished tied. Smith County won the coin toss in that 2-3 matchup, and Jackson County gets the district championship. Smith County beats Monterey 61-37 was the final in that one.
There's got to be some coaches in 6AA thinking we prepared for the wrong team.
Right.
with York coming up just a little bit short in the championship game.
All right, let's go ahead and look at the feature game, which was the Smith County and Monterey game. And Murphy, at halftime, it was 21-14. Smith County, 9 of 28 from the floor in the first half, including 1 of 7 from threes. But they finally got going in the third quarter. They outscored Monterey 21-4 in that quarter to put the game away, lead 42-18. Clayton Rigsby leads the way with 14. Gage Gibbs with 9. Aiden Roberson leads Monterey. Monterey improves falls to 3-27. They had won 2 games all year before upsetting Watertown in the opening round of the district tournament. And then Smith County improves to 13-18. And as we look at the region bracket, Jackson County will host Trousdale County. Those two teams met in the regular season. You got Westmoreland hosting Smith County. Of course, that was the same district, District 6 AA a year ago, where Smith County lost at Westmoreland and beat Westmoreland at home. Then you got White House Heritage hosting Monterey. White House Heritage, I think, has got a big 6'10" kid that's a nice player. And then York hosts Liberty Creek, and it's not far from Gallatin to Jamestown either, right, Murphy?
Well, White House Heritage and Monterey aren't real close to each other either.
definitely not. But when you look at this region bracket, I think Jackson is all those higher seeds are probably the favorite, but it wouldn't surprise me to see one or two of these higher seeds go down in this bracket.
Well, York losing in the championship game just kind of threw everything upside down as they get ready for the regional tournament.
Definitely did, as Smith County finally got to shooting better, hit 15 of 35 shots in the second half. Monterey finally got it going in the fourth quarter against the, I guess you'd say, the backups for the Owls. Now let's look at the District 9 AA scores. Cannon County girls and boys, of course, both won that tournament, Murph. Girls won at 52-36 over Cascade. Then Grundy County gets third place over Community. So Cannon and Cascade get to host.
I talked to several people that are huge Cannon County fans, and nobody could remember the last time that Cannon's boys and girls both won the regular season championship and the tournament championship, boys and girls both, in all of those. It's been a good year for Cannon County, and I don't think either one of those teams are ready to quit anytime soon.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the championship game for District 9 AA. Abilene Teeter with 15, Jenna Bush with 14 for Coach Ashley Patrick. Sophie Ray leads Cascade with 14. Cannon County wins it by 16.
Teeter and Bush tied for MVP in the District 2 for the regular season. And Teeter will be back again next year. There's only 2 seniors on that entire 13-player roster.
Region 5 AA girls tournaments, you've got Cannon County hosted Lewis County, Loretto facing Cascade, Summertown Community, and then Grundy County and Mount Pleasant. Let's go ahead and look at the District 9 AA boys tournament at Cascade. Cannon County gets the win, 66-51 over Grundy. Cascade gets the win in the third place game over Community High School. So that sets up the region tournament, which will be first round people get to host. And right. That's always big. And looking at that Region 5 AA score over the DTC game of the week first, Cannon County beats Grundy 66-51. Theo Winters with 25, Lucas Phillips 11, and then Sam Parson with 21 for Grundy County as Cannon County wins the district championship.
Winters had 6 3-pointers in that championship game, and the team as a whole had 10. So they were long-range shooters in that game for sure.
As we finish up things, Region 5 AA, Cannon County hosts Lewis County, Loretto hosts Cascade, Summertown hosts Community, and Grundy County hosts Mount Pleasant in the tournament, which starts on Saturday night, February the 24th at 7. Thanks so much to Justin Malden. And for Murphy Fair, I'm Terry Collins. Good day from the box score.